Chosen one, stop scrolling right now. This is not background noise, and this is not content you casually landed on. What you are hearing is a God's message, delivered with exact precision in divine timing, and it reached you because something in you was ready before your mind had a chance to question it. That sudden pause you felt, the quiet sense of "this is about me," the inner stillness that pulled your attention in, that was not imagination. That was spiritual awakening responding to truth before logic could interrupt. This video is about why you were called, why your life unfolded the way it did, and why the delay you questioned was never a mistake. It is about the unseen preparation, the pressure you carried, and the reason your path never looked like everyone else's. If you have ever felt out of place, slowed down, or set apart without fully understanding why, this message is here to explain what has been happening beneath the surface and why it matters now. This message did not reach everyone, because not everyone is meant to hear it. A God's message does not appeal to the masses. It activates the chosen one. Some would dismiss it. Some would resist it. Some would feel uncomfortable because truth exposes what is unready. Divine timing does not announce itself loudly or compete for attention. It arrives quietly, with precision, and settles only where alignment already exists. You are here because your spirit recognized something before your mind could analyze it. You didn't need convincing. You felt it. And that recognition is not coincidence. It is confirmation. This video exists to show you why your timing has been different, why your waiting had purpose, and why the season you are stepping into now requires everything you've already endured. Stay with this until the end. What you are about to hear will reframe your past, steady your present, and clarify what is unfolding next. This is not motivation. This is alignment. And if this message reached you, it's because you were meant to receive it now. Hear this clearly and let it settle. You were not overlooked. You were not skipped. You were not forgotten. God's delay was not absence, it was intention. Delay was protection. Delay was calibration. Delay was preparation, happening beyond your awareness. While you questioned the pace, something deeper was being formed. While you compared timelines, your inner structure was being strengthened. Divine timing does not rush what carries weight. The divine calling and chosen one path always feels different because it is different. You noticed it early. Your life did not unfold in simple lines. Pressure followed you through seasons. Others moved through lightly. That pressure was not punishment. It was proof of capacity. God does not entrust weight to unprepared vessels. The waiting shaped your discernment. The silence trained your hearing. The delay matured your authority. Recognition is the first sign of spiritual awakening. Not excitement, not certainty. Recognition. Your spirit recognizes truth because it remembers it. When a God's message reaches the chosen one, it does not persuade, it confirms. That is why this feels familiar and unsettling at the same time. Familiar because your soul knows. Unsettling because truth rearranges what was comfortable. This is how awakening begins. Quietly but unmistakably. You may have wondered why your path required endurance when others received ease. Why clarity came through pressure instead of applause. Why doors opened slowly for you while others seemed to move ahead. This is the nature of divine timing. Exposure is delayed, not purpose. Visibility waits until integrity can hold it. God's delay kept you from being seen before you were fortified. Do not minimize the war you survived. It was real. The resistance was real. The fatigue was real. The isolation was real, but so is the light you carry. That light required shielding until you could stand steady within it. This message found you because the season has shifted internally. Something in you has stabilized. You no longer seek permission to be who you are. You recognize alignment over approval. This is not about belief. It is about resonance. Belief can be taught, but resonance is remembered. That is why the chosen one feels truth in the body before the mind agrees. Your chest tightens, your breath slows, your attention sharpens. These are signals of alignment. Spiritual awakening often arrives without spectacle, carrying clarity instead of noise. It asks you to trust what you sense, even when explanations lag behind. Divine timing honors this order because spirit leads and understanding follows. You have been trained in stillness. You learn to wait without becoming bitter, to observe without becoming hardened, to hope without becoming naive. Those lessons did not come from comfort. They came from refinement. God's delay carved space inside you for wisdom to settle and for compassion to deepen. This is why your voice carries weight now. This is why your presence calms rather than competes. This is why your steps are measured and your choices intentional. Remember this when doubt returns. The chosen one does not need constant reassurance. They need remembrance. Return to recognition. Return to alignment. Return to the knowing that your life has been guided by divine timing even when it felt unclear. A God's message does not expire. It activates, and once activated, it continues to work quietly within you, ordering your steps, guarding your peace, and strengthening your resolve to walk forward with courage and humility. Circle back to the beginning and hear it again with clarity. This is a message from God. You are not mistaken. You are not late. You were called. The war was real. Your light is necessary, and you are stronger than you realize because preparation has already done its work. Stand in that truth without shrinking. Let confidence rise gently, anchored, steady, and unshakable within you. If you feel aligned, acknowledge it. Comment 777 as a signal of recognition, not to me, but to yourself. If this touched your soul and awakened something you cannot ignore, comment 111. Because you know it now. You were called today clearly. Why God sits delay was necessary for you. This is a message from God, and it needs to be said again because repetition is how truth settles. You are not imagining this season. You were called. The delay you lived through was not an error in divine timing, it was a requirement of it. The chosen one always walks through longer waiting seasons, because what you carry cannot be rushed without being damaged. God's delay was not punishment. It was protection disguised as restraint. You felt the weight of watching others move ahead while you stayed in place. You watched doors open for people who did not seem as prepared, as committed, or as tested as you were. That comparison created quiet questions inside you. You wondered if you were invisible, forgotten, or somehow behind. But divine timing does not measure progress the way humans do. Human timing values speed. Divine timing values stability. One builds platforms, the other builds foundations. God's delay shielded you from exposure before alignment. Exposure without preparation creates collapse. Visibility without discernment creates confusion. Advancement without authority creates insecurity. So purpose was never delayed, only access was. The assignment stayed intact while the timing matured. That is the difference between delay and denial. What is denied is removed. What is delayed is preserved. As a chosen one, your waiting season was longer because your responsibility will be heavier. You were being trained to see clearly before being seen widely. Discernment was forming while you stood still. Patience was being stretched while nothing moved. Authority was being built quietly while recognition was withheld. Spiritual preparation rarely looks productive, but it always proves essential. You needed time to learn restraint. You needed time to recognize false urgency. You needed time to distinguish between attention and alignment. God's delay forced you inward. It removed distractions. It stripped dependence on validation. It taught you how to stand without applause and remain steady without confirmation. These are not small lessons. They are survival skills for destiny. Divine timing works beneath the surface first. Before circumstances shift, perception shifts. Before doors open, motives are purified. Before movement accelerates, identity stabilizes. You were being aligned internally so that external change would not overwhelm you. That is why nothing could be forced. That is why shortcuts were closed. That is why progress felt slow but intentional. The emotional weight you carried was real. Loneliness was real. Confusion was real. The temptation to doubt yourself was real. But so was the refining happening inside you. God's delay taught you how to wait without resentment, how to hope without desperation, how to remain open without becoming fragile. These qualities cannot be learned quickly. They are forged through time. You were not meant to arrive early. Early arrival would have exposed you to battles you were not yet equipped to fight. Divine timing delayed your visibility until your discernment could protect you. It delayed your elevation until your humility could ground you. It delayed your breakthrough until your character could sustain it. This is what spiritual preparation looks like when it is done thoroughly. Circle back to the beginning and hear it clearly again. This is a message from God. You did not miss anything. You were not bypassed. You were being prepared in ways you could not see yet. The war was real because the assignment is real. Resistance always reveals value. Pressure always points to purpose. And your light is necessary, which is why it had to be guarded until you were ready to carry it without burning out. Now understand this with confidence. Delay does not diminish calling, it deepens it. Waiting does not weaken faith, it strengthens it. Silence does not mean absence, it means instruction without noise. Divine timing was shaping you for precision, not speed, for endurance, not appearance, for impact, not reaction. Walk forward now with a settled spirit. Not rushed, not anxious, not proving anything. You were trained in patience, so you could move with authority. You were delayed, so you could last. You were hidden, so you could be fortified. And now you stand with clarity, not confusion. If this touched your soul and confirmed what you already knew, comment 111, because you know it now without doubt. You were called. The hidden preparation you couldn't see. This is a message from God, and it is important to return to this truth again and again until it settles deeper than doubt. You are not imagining what you went through. You were called, and because you were called, much of your preparation happened in places no one applauded, noticed, or understood. What looked like stillness on the outside was intense movement on the inside. What felt like stagnation was spiritual preparation unfolding quietly, deliberately, and precisely. There were seasons where nothing changed externally, yet everything was shifting internally. Your thoughts became sharper. Your tolerance for dishonesty weakened. Your desire for noise faded. This was not loss of passion, it was refinement. God prepares the heart before the platform, because the platform reveals what the heart cannot hide. You were being shaped away from attention, so that when attention arrives, it will not consume you. Stillness taught you to sit with yourself without escape. Silence trained you to listen without distraction. Waiting forced you to confront patterns that could no longer travel forward with you. This is how internal transformation happens, not through sudden events, but through sustained awareness. You began to notice what drained you, what aligned you, and what quietly depleted your spirit. That awareness is not accidental. It is the mark of spiritual awakening taking root. Your intuition strengthened during this time. You learned to sense before you spoke, to pause before you moved, to feel truth before it was proven. This is not overthinking. This is discernment developing. Spiritual awakening sharpens perception because the chosen one must learn to navigate more than what is visible. You were being trained to recognize alignment, not just opportunity. That training only happens when noise is reduced and stillness is unavoidable. Emotional maturity became a requirement, not an option. You learned how to regulate yourself instead of reacting. You learned how to hold compassion without self-betrayal. You learned how to forgive without reconnecting to what was misaligned. These lessons were not easy, and they were not gentle, but they were necessary. Emotional maturity is spiritual qualification. Without it, gifting becomes dangerous and influence becomes unstable. You may have questioned why success did not arrive sooner, why recognition stayed distant, why progress felt invisible, but unseen growth always matters more than visible success. Visible success attracts attention, unseen growth sustains responsibility. God's message was shaping you to carry weight without losing yourself. That kind of preparation cannot be rushed or performed publicly. It happens in private decisions, quiet endurance, and unseen integrity. The war you fought was internal before it was external. You battled doubt, fatigue, loneliness, and the temptation to quit when nothing made sense. That war was real because the calling is real. Resistance does not rise against what is insignificant. Pressure does not persist around what is unimportant. The intensity you endured was not random. It was proportionate to what you are meant to hold. As a chosen one, you were being emptied of false urgency and filled with grounded clarity. You were being detached from approval and anchored into alignment. God's message was not shouted at you. It was woven into your experiences. Each delay taught you patience. Each disappointment taught you discernment. Each quiet season taught you depth. This is how spiritual preparation works when it is done correctly. There were moments you felt misunderstood, overlooked, or disconnected. But isolation was part of the refinement. It removed external influence so your internal compass could recalibrate. You learned to trust what you sense instead of what you are told. You learned to move slower, but with more certainty. You learned to value peace over performance. These are not losses, they are upgrades. Now circle back to the beginning and hear it again with clarity. This is a message from God. You were not drifting. You were being shaped. You were not stagnant. You were being fortified. You were not late. You were being prepared. The war was real because transformation was real. And your light is necessary, which is why it had to be stabilized before it could be revealed. Stand in this truth without shrinking. What you carry is refined, not rushed. What you bring is grounded, not reactive. What you are becoming is steady, not fragile. You are not emerging empty-handed. You are emerging equipped, and you do not need to announce it. Alignment speaks for itself. If this touched your soul and confirmed what you have felt quietly for a long time, comment 111 because you know it now without needing proof. You were called. Why the chosen one sip's path feels heavier than others. This is a message from God, and it must be repeated because truth strengthens when it is revisited. You are not imagining the weight you have carried. You were called, and calling always comes with pressure before it comes with clarity. The chosen one's path feels heavier because it is built to hold more. Pressure is not a sign of weakness. It is proof of capacity. What carries little is tested lightly. What carries much is refined deeply. You noticed early that your journey did not allow shortcuts. While others moved quickly, you were slowed. While others were given access, you were required to wait. This was not unfairness, this was protection. Shortcuts are withheld from the chosen one because shortcuts bypass formation, and formation is what allows responsibility to be carried without collapse. God's delay was not denial, it was refinement in motion. Premature elevation costs more than delay ever could. Elevation before maturity exposes insecurity. Elevation before discernment attracts confusion. Elevation before grounding creates instability. You were spared from being lifted into spaces your spirit could not yet regulate. That restraint was mercy, not rejection. Divine calling and chosen one assignments require internal stability before external expansion. Without it, success becomes a burden instead of a blessing. Responsibility always demands refinement first. You were trained to hold weight before receiving reward. You learned endurance before recognition. You learned restraint before influence. This order matters. Influence amplifies what already exists. God's delay ensured that when amplification comes, it magnifies wisdom instead of wounds. You were not slowed to frustrate you. You were slowed to fortify you. The pressure you felt was shaping your strength quietly. You learned how to remain calm under uncertainty. You learned how to respond instead of react. You learned how to carry disappointment without becoming bitter. These lessons were not small, they were essential. Spiritual preparation happens under weight because weight reveals structure. Anything weak breaks under pressure. Anything aligned strengthens. As a chosen one, your assignment carries consequence beyond yourself. That is why your preparation required isolation, patience, and repeated testing. God trusts the chosen one with weight before reward, because trust is built through endurance. You proved you could carry responsibility without recognition. You proved you could remain faithful without affirmation. You proved you could stand without support. That proof matters in divine timing. You questioned why ease did not come sooner, why rest required effort, why clarity followed confusion. But this path was never designed for comfort first. It was designed for integrity. The war you fought was not imaginary. It was necessary. Resistance does not surround what is empty. Pressure does not follow what is insignificant. Your light attracted resistance because it carries impact. God's delay filtered what could not move forward with you. It removed dependencies. It dissolved illusions. It stripped false confidence and replaced it with grounded authority. You were not being punished. You were being entrusted. Weight was added because strength was forming. Responsibility increased because capacity expanded. This is how spiritual preparation differentiates assignment levels. Now circle back to the beginning and hear it clearly again. This is a message from God. You were not misreading your life. You were being trained through it. The heaviness had purpose. The resistance had meaning. The war was real because your calling is real, and your light is necessary, which is why it was tested before it was trusted. Stand in this truth without apology. You did not take the harder path by accident. You were guided onto it intentionally. Walk forward now with steady confidence. You are not behind. You are prepared, and what you carry will be released at the right time, with the right strength, and for the right reason. If this touched your soul and confirmed what you have always felt but could not explain, comment 111. Because you know it now without hesitation, you were called. When divine timing begins to shift, this is a message from God, and it matters to return to this truth as the ground beneath everything you are sensing. You are not imagining the change you feel. You were called, and when divine timing begins to shift, it does not arrive with chaos or panic. It arrives with clarity. The chosen one does not feel urgency when alignment approaches. They feel steadiness. That is the first sign that preparation is nearing completion. Before anything changes outwardly, something settles inwardly. Your reactions soften. Your need to explain yourself fades. Your hunger for validation quiets. You become less interested in forcing movement and more attentive to resonance. This is not passivity. This is spiritual awakening maturing. Movement always begins internally before it manifests externally, because internal order determines external stability. Waiting slowly transforms into alignment. You are no longer counting time. You are noticing precision. You are no longer chasing outcomes. You are recognizing direction. Divine timing does not remove patience. It rewards it. It does not rush the chosen one forward. It draws them forward naturally. What once felt delayed now feels intentional. What once felt heavy now feels purposeful. There are subtle signs that indicate this shift. You feel less resistance when you imagine the future. You sense less fear when you consider visibility. You trust yourself more than circumstances. You stop rehearsing explanations and start listening more closely. These are not coincidences. They are signals that spiritual preparation has done its work and that alignment has replaced striving. When divine timing accelerates, it does so safely. There is no scrambling. There is no collapse. There is no loss of self. Things move quickly, but not violently. Doors open with confirmation instead of confusion. Conversations feel timely instead of forced. Opportunities feel appropriate instead of overwhelming. Acceleration under divine timing feels calm because it is supported by readiness. As a chosen one, you may notice that you no longer feel pressure to prove anything. Recognition replaces striving. You do not need to announce your growth because it is evident. You do not need to defend your path because it is anchored. You do not need to rush ahead because alignment carries momentum of its own. This is how divine timing feels when it begins to unfold. God's message is not warning you to hurry. It is confirming that you are ready to move without fear. The war you endured trained you for this moment. The resistance strengthened your discernment. The waiting refined your patience. Your light did not dim during preparation. It stabilized. That stability is what allows expansion without fragmentation. You may still be in transition, but transition does not mean uncertainty. It means repositioning. It means internal clarity catching up with external movement. You are learning to trust timing instead of timelines. You are learning to respond instead of react. You are learning to move when guided, not when pressured. This is wisdom earned through experience. Circle back to the beginning and hear it again with conviction. This is a message from God. You are not confused. You are aligned. You were called, and that calling is unfolding with precision. The war was real, but it is not your future. It was your training. Your light is necessary, and now it is steady enough to move forward without burning you or others. Stand here without fear. There is no rush. There is no loss. There is only alignment revealing itself, step by step. Divine timing is not dramatic. It is accurate, and accuracy always produces peace before progress. Trust what is unfolding quietly. You are not missing anything. You are arriving exactly where you need to be. If this touched your soul, and confirmed what you have been sensing without words. Comment 111, because you know it now without forcing belief. You were called. Final confirmation. You were never behind. This is a message from God, and it is important to return to this truth one final time, so it seals itself within you, not as inspiration, but as certainty. You are not imagining what your life has felt like. You were called, and because you were called, your path unfolded differently, not incorrectly, not slowly, not behind, but intentionally, according to divine timing that was always precise, even when it was painful. Nothing about your journey was a mistake. No season was wasted. No delay weakened your destiny. God's delay was never the absence of movement. It was movement happening where the eye could not see. Purpose was never paused. It was protected. While you questioned progress, alignment was forming. While you doubted timing, readiness was stabilizing. You were never behind because divine timing does not operate on comparison. It operates on completion. You are ready now in a way you could not have been earlier. Not louder, not harder, but steadier. The chosen one's readiness is not measured by ambition, but by balance. You can now hold responsibility without losing peace. You can receive without becoming dependent. You can be seen without needing validation. This is readiness, and it could only be built through the path you walked. Trusting God's delay no longer requires anxiety. You no longer need to replay old questions or rehearse missed moments. The waiting already did its work. The uncertainty already refined you. The resistance already revealed your strength. You are not standing at the edge of something fragile. You are standing within something stable. Divine timing has aligned your inner world so your outer world can expand without breaking you. You do not need to announce your next steps. Walking forward quietly is not hesitation, it is confidence. The divine calling and chosen. One path does not require explanation. It carries authority without noise. Those who are aligned will recognize it. Those who are not will fall away naturally. You are no longer seeking permission. You are moving with clarity. Spiritual awakening does not end with realization. It matures into embodiment. You are no longer just aware of who you are living from it. Your decisions reflect it. Your boundaries protect it. Your pace honors it. This is the fruit of preparation. This is why the delay mattered. This is why your life unfolded the way it did. Circle back to the beginning and hear it one last time with full conviction. This is a message from God. You were never lost. You were never late. You were never misaligned. You were called, and the calling required depth before direction, strength before speed, and grounding before growth. The war you fought was real, because what you carry is real. Resistance always rises where light is necessary. Your light is not fragile anymore. It is steady. It does not flicker with opinion or bend under pressure. It stands. That is why the delay had to last until stability replaced urgency, until peace replaced striving, until recognition replaced explanation. You are not emerging uncertain. You are emerging clear. Let go of the idea that something still needs to be proven. Let go of the fear that time was lost. Let go of the urge to rush forward to make up for waiting. There is nothing to recover. Everything arrived exactly when it needed to. Divine timing did not fail you. It formed you. Now walk forward without fear, without announcement, without comparison. You are not chasing destiny. You are aligned with it. Trust the stillness that guides you. Trust the discernment that steadies you. Trust the wisdom that now leads your choices. You are prepared to move at the pace that sustains you, not the pace that exhausts you. If you feel aligned with this truth, Acknowledge it now. Comment 777 as a signal of recognition, alignment, and acceptance. Not for attention, but for confirmation within yourself that you understand what this season means. And if this touched your soul in a way that feels undeniable, comment 111. Because you know it now without question, without doubt, without needing further signs. You were called.